Yeah. Concentrate on your questions. Start preparing yourselves and allow Advocate Mkhize to conclude the presentation of evidence. Commissioner Mkhwanazi, are you back?
Yes.
Are you ready to hit the road?
Yes, Chair.
Okay. Simunye. Good luck.
Thank you, Chairperson. Commissioner Mkhwanazi, we are now at paragraph 51 of your statement. It sounds like you...
Yes, I was worried about the way we met. There's something that I want to emphasize, you see, because it will be like I'm lying when we go to the chronological order in terms of the meetings. The first meeting with Medicare, it was 2021, not 2022. And the discussions about VOSI and the other things, because when you go that side, it will push us to discuss the engagement with Matlala 2021. But whilst I met with, sorry, Advocate, whilst I met with Mike van Wyk, but when we talk, I'll talk to that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Your evidence that you gave earlier, at paragraph 28 of your statement, which is on page 10, I think that it confirms your evidence, your oral evidence. Yes, it does specifically state that you met him around COVID 2020 toward the end because you were ill. So I think that is quite clear.
Oh yes, I want to clarify again with VOSI, it was late 2021. Yes.
Yes, I think that is also on record. It's also on your statement. And I can confirm that it's at paragraph 47 of your statement. You have already actually led evidence to that effect. Are you?
Thank you.
Okay. I think we are on the same page regarding the timeline.
Yes, Advocate.
Yes. We now come to the memorandum of understanding that you had between you, Medicare 24 Clinic and CAT VIP. You can lead us in evidence. You can take us through. It starts at paragraph 51. Could you perhaps give a detailed account of what you mean, what happened regarding the internal communications in respect of the memorandum of understanding?
It became dead because people were sleeping on duty.
What do you mean by that?
I will talk to that.
Okay.
Chief Whip, you once said, I don't know who was testifying, that when the letter comes to your office, to PA, it means that it came to you as a Chief Whip, because that's the office, you take charge on that, you see. But when 5 or 6, 7 letters are coming, you don't get any response. It means there's a senior who's a check collector who's coming and sleeping on duty. That's my understanding with all these processes, you see. And that's what I'd like to emphasize, because there's an email that came to the office. I'll read, Advocate. Yes. There's an email that came to office. They got an email, confirms that the email, gives the Chief of Police an email, you see. And other people are advising the Chief of Police, and there's nothing that it's happening. You see, even responding and say, no, we are not supporting this. You see, then it advises, it gives all other people are reporting to a clear line, a clear communication. This is a direction that we are going to take. But when we are dead whilst on duty, people are going to act and take decisions, because some of us were young. We want to be given positions so that we can act and change and bring change where we're deployed, or I'm not deployed, where we are appointed. You see, not just to come at work and laugh and say, there's nothing that is happening. Because I want to raise this chairperson. Because we find ourselves in this situation because members don't have vehicles in Kurland, don't have bullet vests, don't have breathalyzers, don't have sisters, don't have, but there's a budget that is passed each and every year. What is that budget doing? And there are people who are employed to make sure that there's work that is being done. That's why it worries me, because this is not the first letter that came in and nothing is happening, you see. We can't be check collectors whilst we're getting money paid by a public institution. And you must be clear, in policing, you give line of command. You come and say, the instruction is this, 1, 2, 3, 5. All the people are reporting to you. They must take that direction. That's what I wanted to raise. That the chief of police was sleeping on duty. And his advisors, I must say that I'm not working for his company, I'm working for a public institution. You see, and that's what it's happening. And we are paid to account on daily basis to take. That's why we are accounting here. Because members of committee feel that there's something wrong that is happening. You see, that could have prevented. Let me request.
Thank you, Commissioner. I think that the members have heard your utterances regarding your concerns at EMPD. And also, I guess the good thing is that you are now senior and you are the Deputy Municipal Commissioner. So I'm sure there'll be some change upon your return.
They will tell you, I give line of command. That's why they decided to go and run and talk somewhere. Because under me, you work and you account.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, getting back to paragraph 51.
Yes. The Memorandum of Understanding with Medicare 24 and CAT VIP. The formal instructions from my then superior, Mr. Goodman Zolo, which were issued to me on the 15th October 2021, clearly outlined the task and to-do list or things to do for when task must be done, a to-do list concerning the SOP, standard of operational procedure with operational security division and other responsibilities. The plan of SOP was necessary as the department had not yet established one since its inception, although officers are working with private security companies without any formalities. Attached here, it's a copy of to-do list marked annexure, JDM 12.
Okay, if you could just then maybe turn to JDM 12. Is that the annexure that you are referring to, the to-do list? It is at page 117, at page 79. Not that bundle, the separate bundle. Yes, that one, that file. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
That's correct. Okay. If you could then please just give an account of that internal communication and processes and procedures that you discuss at paragraph 51. Where they followed regarding Medicare 24's proposal. The to-do list, if you can perhaps read it in, it's a bit unclear.
Yes, the to-do list, it was about us developing a standard of operational procedure with the private security company. Remember, the private security companies are not working for us. They are providing services to their clients within the city of Ekurhuleni. It may be those that are patrolling within the residential areas that are having contract with individuals. It may be those that are having contract with the companies within the city of Ekurhuleni. As you know that the city of Ekurhuleni is an industrial area. You see, you've got a lot of companies in each and every town, or between the town and the township, or between an informal settlement. There's an industrial area that is taking place there, you see. And when we respond in terms of crime, all of us will respond. You see, at the same time, when you respond in terms of your illegal mining, all of us will respond. But the challenge is that it's a procedure that we must follow when we respond, the things that we must do, the working relations among ourselves. But part of those relations, it was looking at the resources that they are having. They are well capacitated. As I've said, that in the city of Guru, we have a challenge that we don't have tools of trade. Sometimes we don't have tools of trade, as I've said, not because the city doesn't provide, but because of people are unable to do what they are appointed to do. But at least when we have those capacity and the people that are responding, because when we arrest, there's a certain procedure that must follow. Because that's why sometimes we lose lot of cases in the court of law, because people that arrive first, they've got resources, they don't follow a procedure. They tamper with the crime scene, change the crime scene, everything. But it was about that and say, in Katlehong, so in Germiston, we're having these 10 companies. We're having a prison com. How to work with this? And we must know who's operating within our area, how many firearms are they having, how many cars that are there, so that even when we deploy as a prison commander, not at my level then, as a we don't call it police station, as metropolis, we call them precinct. That prison commander, when you plan, you know that at least I'm having 10 companies that are operating in this area. Then the objective was to make sure that we do that strategically. Again, we utilize their resources, but we are able to manage it, you see, and be able to, it was that thing, and make sure that we throw in all the security companies and work with them.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And we sat in 3 or 4 meetings discussing it, and I was tasked that you run with it, you do it, let it be operational, let it work.
Commissioner, were those procedures that you mentioned, were they in place in respect of CAT VIP security? We're dealing with CAT VIP security as well as Medicare 24, because it's not about the question.
Yes.
It's not a general question. It's more specific to those 2 entities.
As I've said, that there was no process. We're starting a process.
Okay.
We're initiating a process that is not there.
Okay. So you then mentioned in paragraph 54 that you were then surprised to receive a letter that there was an investigation in relation to me for improper use of my position, especially when I was acting in line with the official's directives, Mr. Mzolo, who was aware of this initiative. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Yes, advocate. I met with DCOP Mzolo, and remember, there was a letter and letters that were sent. The letters, that's why I was saying again, the letters that were, the memorandum, the proposed memorandum of understanding that were crafted or that were presented to EMPD. It was not only about Medicare, you see. There was another one to discuss in terms of how to work, how do we establish relations. And again, there was a request of donation of vehicles out of that, you see. Those are the copies that were submitted. Some were submitted physically, some were there, you see. And the process of communication, it was followed. There was communication, and even I too, I've submitted letters to that office too.
You mentioned that further that there's documentation from Corporate Legal Services Department of the city to IPED challenging recommendations made by the chief and Mr. Rivo Spies, who claim to have no knowledge of the situation of any working relationship with Medicare 24. If I can just pause there, what is the context of that statement?
Can you repeat it? I was writing something, then I lost you along the way.
You say remember, this is the same paragraph where you say that you were surprised to receive a letter regarding improper use of your position.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, this is just basically in relation to your communication with Mr. Matlala regarding CAD VIP. If you look on the next page, it's specific that from the document it's reflected that EMPD engaged with CAD VIP, but you now were being disciplined for that conduct, for improper use of your position.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe to bring further clarity, it's in regard to paragraph 61. So related to blue lights, related to other communication that you were having in respect of security services, for which you were later suspended.
Thank
Do
you.
you have recollection of that?
Yes.
Maybe we can then just turn to the relevant suspension letter and you can start the story from the top. Just in relation to what happened from this paragraph that you were surprised to be now, pointed out for behaving in a manner that was improper in the context of the workplace. But I'd like to place it in context. At paragraph, at annexure, I think it's annexure 7. Just don't have my actual file. Can I get my file back? At annexure 7, which is at page 7 of the annexures, not that file. Not that file. The one, yes. The one at the bottom, yes.
Annexure,
Page 7, annexure JDM2. No, sorry, not JDM2. It's the later one. It's a suspension letter dated 24 February 2023.
Okay.
It should be JDM 7.
Yes.
Do you have it?
Yes.
You can read in the page.
Married.
No, it's at page 53. Are you at page 53 of the bundle?
Yes.
That page at 53 is a suspension letter dated 20 February 2023.
So,
And
sorry. Yes.
okay. And that letter reads, it's a notice, it says that you were given a notice of intention to suspend on the 21st of February. You were then given an opportunity to provide reasons why you should not be disciplined or why you should not be suspended, which you provided on the 24th of February. And that is at annexure 55. Well, the annexure didn't make it in. And that letter says,
Annexure 55 of which bundle?
no, it's a different one. It's okay. So you provided reasons though within 48 hours.
Yes.
Yes, you did.
Yes,
Why
I
you
did
should
that.
not. And subsequent to providing those reasons, you were still suspended.
Yes.
You were suspended. Okay.
It's just formalities.
Yes.
Everyone who does that, suspension, this. We don't consider those things.
Okay. And you were suspended for a period of 3 months. And the reason why it was 3 months, it was to afford EMPD an opportunity to investigate.
Yes, advocate.
Yes. And at JMD 9, which is at page 56.
Yes, advocate.
Yes. You did not learn about you say in your statement that you did not know whether an investigation was conducted or not, what the outcome of the investigation was, and whether there was a report to that effect.
By that time, I think I was reporting to a secret agency called EMPD.
A secret agency?
Yes.
Because they were not informing you of the outcome. This you state between paragraphs 19 and 20 of your statement. And there at paragraph 20, you say that once 3 months had lapsed, the suspension was lifted on the 24th of May, because that suspension letter had basically said that it was for a period of 3 months while they investigate. And you were not informed of the outcome of the investigation.
Yes, madam.
And then when you were preparing for the Matlala commission, you then subsequently learned that there may have been a report.
May I raise something?
Yes.
There's something that came into my mind. I was called by one of the law firm, which they said they were appointed to investigate. But in their engagement with me, they asked me that before you were suspended, were you informed that it's a tribunal, means that there's an outside law firm that has been appointed to investigate you. And before that law firm is being appointed, they must agree with you that it's a procedure. It's part of disciplinary processes that if you bring an outside person to investigate, you must be informed. I said, no, I was not informed. I stayed at home for 3 months. There's no communication. There's nothing. They said, sure, no one communicated. I said, there's no communication. That means they ran a secret investigation, appointed outside lawyers to investigate me without even sitting down with these formalities. That, it's not a procedure. It says that you must be called, you must be informed, so that if you want to bring an outside attorney to defend you, but there's nothing that happened, madam. It's only those people that called me and say, we want to confirm that, want to check that. Did you agree on that? I said, no one called me. That means Kolane, Revo, Mapieye, they were doing their own secret agent things. You see.
Okay. So when you learned about annexure JDM9,
yes, advocate.
it is a letter from the city to IPED. Do you see that?
Yes, advocate.
Dated 6 December 2023.
Yes, advocate.
What does that letter speak to?
During the time, last year in October, November, when the process of Matlala was starting, I came across this letter. You see, somebody sent me through WhatsApp and say, are you aware of this letter? You see, when I read, I said, but this letter is discussing about me, and I've got a criminal case that has been opened against me. You see, I made some inquiries and checked. They said, no. The city was responding to IPED. You see, the city had their own internal, except the external one. There was another internal investigation that ran that I was not aware of, but it's fine. They were investigating, they were checking through the city's official. It's their process. They checked Christine about blue lights and all these rumors that are taking place about all these processes. That's where Christine explained that no. The person who was doing the process of vehicle, it is me as Christine. The person came to me, I needed the letter of commitment, and he submitted the letter of commitment. Then all the processes were made by me. The issue of blue lights and other things, the story that is not there, because as the city, before you do those things, you must tender the processes. You see, there was no tender process and there were no blue lights, there was no branding in this letter. In fact, it was saying that, but we can read it, you see. That's when I came across, it was 2 years. It was 2024, last year, after my suspension, 1 year, 8 months or 1 year, 7 months after my suspension to get such communication. But you could see that it was addressed to IPED from our side.
Okay.
But I was not aware about any processes.
Perhaps it's a good time to actually put what the issues were regarding the blue lights before you were suspended. If you turn to page 61 of your statement.
Yes, advocate.
Yes. You say there regarding the blue lights and registration of vehicles, no branding that was done or authorization, no branding was done and or authorization or related work to be carried out.
Advocate, I prefer to read it so that it can be recorded.
Okay.
It must come from me.
Yes, you may go ahead. You may
because
read
I've
it.
been explaining, no one wants to take the story.
Okay.
You see. Allegation on blue lights. Regarding blue lights and registration of vehicle, no blue lights and branding that was done or authorized on related work to be carried out. I did not grant any authorization on the alleged work as it is widely circulated. The vehicles were still in the initial stages of being processed for donation as per the letter of intent to commit to the city of Ekurhuleni, which was requested by the proxy. We've got one proxy, the city. He's responsible for all the city's fleet. Whether it's 20 department, 21 department, whether it's 60, 70 vehicles, he's the only one who's authorized to buy, to register, to brand, to put blue lights for EMPD, and to put red lights for emergency and everything.
Okay.
Yes, his name is Christine.
If you can just say his full name. What is his full name?
It's Chris. The surname is Stain. Christine.
Okay.
Yes. And we're required to follow all established procedures for formal registration as donated assets as per processes from fleet. They said vehicles were not fitted with blue lights. Attached here is a letter from the proxy marked JDM 17. Last year, advocate, when Matlala Commission started and when we were busy again as ad hoc, there's a team that comes from National Trust team that came from SAPS. They went to the offices of EMPD. They met with those individuals. I was looking at them through cameras. They drove to Christine. They demanded to see and approve the letter, the budget and everything for blue light. He responded, I've attached that letter here, that there was no blue lights that were fitted by the city or by EMPD. There was no brand, or there was no branding that was done to any other vehicle. He said the same thing that you've said. He said the same thing as this letter of investigation, the one that you are reading now, that was addressed to IPID. I don't know how did they do investigation, but the letter says that, confirms the letter that he wrote last December or November. It confirms that what I've been saying, you see, that there are no blue lights. There's no branding that was done by the city. As I've said, that there's a process. You don't just wake up and say, I'm putting blue light, you can't do that, you see.
So by giving that testimony, are you now saying that you did not approach the Mr. Chris Stain for the purposes of installing blue lights on CAT VIP's vehicles? Is that your evidence?
It was not even part of the discussion. We're still discussing, we're still pushing to win these vehicles on our side. We were still busy with that process. And again,
when you say you were still looking to win the vehicles, because for the sake of time, what do you mean by that?
You know what happened, madam?
Yes.
When you donate, you start by donating to the city. He deals with the vehicles of the city, and ex-proxy, he decides, now I'm taking these 4 or 2 vehicles to EMPD. Like now when we buy vehicles, we don't buy vehicles for EMPD. We buy vehicles that are not branded. You buy them for the city. Then in that seat, we say, no, but it is our budget, and we bought 15 sets, fine. Then it gives you 15 vehicles. These 15 vehicles, that they don't have blue lights, they don't have branding. You get them from the manufacturer or from the dealer. Then you start another process, tendering process of making sure that you are fitting blue lights and you are fitting branding. When they're allocated to EMPD, you see, it was not even part of the discussion. And it was not even part of my mind or his mind.
When you say it was not part of the discussion, what was not part of the discussion?
The branding and the blue lights.
Okay. All right. You may continue with your with reading in your statement.
I verified this with the city proxy, who is the sole official responsible for the managing the city's fleet. I informed him that a security company called CAT VIP Security had offered to donate their old vehicles after deciding to upgrade to a luxury fleet. This followed discussion with Mr. Matlala as the department had been facing significant challenges due to shortage of vehicles. The proxy of the city, Mr. Christine, provided guidance on the correct process to follow and emphasized that the department should not incur any cost for donation given our financial constraints. As I've said, that the city that time had financial constraints. Even now, there are challenges. 63, he further advised that a letter of intent to commit will be required from the current owner of the vehicles. He confirmed that there is no prescribed format or legislation governing such letters for the city, as previous donations, such as those involving there was a donation, city program and Caesars program. There was donation of 3 or 4 vehicles from Caesars Paris, Empire's Paris. It's a casino in Cape Town Park in the city of Ekurhuleni. In a Ekurhuleni program. And Gauteng heavy vehicles contributions were accepted through stranded letter of intent as per prox. Again, I was sent by the department to go and collect and lead the team that is collecting the vehicles there. There was no letter of donation, no letter of intent. All those processes happened after, but because it was instructions from the chief, we are keeping it under carpet, you see. But those vehicles were donated to the city. I'll talk to that.
By that evidence that you are now leading, are you saying that because firstly, is your evidence that the chief of police did something similar?
Many times. I'll talk to that.
So what is that conduct? What is that he did which was similar to what? Are you saying that he also had cars donated similarly to how you also facilitated cars being donated? I'm trying to understand when you say he also did the same thing.
From different institutions.
Okay.
Yes. Got photos, I've got everything, evidence to provide to support that. On this one, I was there. We went to Limpopo. I led the team. We came with the trucks that are useless. We are parking them there. The state is spending 3 trucks, two trucks. The state is spending a lot of money every month, every year to register those vehicles. We are not using them for anything. They were there. We were going to utilize them for for overloads, you see. But the way they were made, they are good for cars for 1987, 1991. The current technology and the cars that we're having, you can't do anything. We donated, we got those donations. Those cars are parked at Albertine workshop now.
Okay. Just for the sake of completion, you are referring to JDM 19.
I'm not sure. On which bundle in this?
No, that one in front of you, yes. That is at page 100, page 100 on that bundle in front of you. Yes.
Well, let me talk to this. But there are photos that are not here, but I'm having them. I'm going to submit so that to get all evidence. It's part of what I'm saying. Again, I'm getting charged because the intention in that memorandum of Matlala, it was also to donate a chopper. Not to donate, but to sponsor a chopper that will assist in terms of emergency or when we are responding in terms of crimes and other things, you see. And I'm charged for that. But after I'm being charged, they are doing the same thing too. EMPD doesn't have a chopper. Him, the chief of police, Revos Peace, and Ivan du Plessis, they go somewhere, they get the chopper from private company. They brand it. I've also confirmed with the fleet. Said, I don't know anything about it. I'm the one who's branding cars. The chopper is branded. As you see photos, EMPD, I'm the director of specialized services. This K9 unit reports to me. I'm not aware about them, and up until somebody sent me this photo. Are you aware about this? I say, I'm not aware about this. You see, they are getting a photo, branding it the way Julius Matlala wanted to do it. They said it's wrong. They charged me, they disciplined me. I was suspended for nothing. But after my suspension, 14 March 2022, you see.
Okay. You speak, if I can just come back to your evidence in respect of care to VIP, because the question is in regard to that. You say that it was at the initial stages.
Yes.
It never, what you're very clear about is that the cars were never fitted with blue lights. But you also speak about the process being in its initial stages. So which means there were other processes that were meant to follow. What are those?
Let me clarify, Advocate. Mr. Stein was still registering the vehicles. You see, went to him and say, there's this person or this company that would want to donate 4 vehicles to the city.
Okay.
You see, then in those processes said, we can't even take those vehicles. There's a process that must be followed. We need to register the vehicles. We need to take that item to council. You see, those vehicles, we never received them physically. It was registration plate and papers to register them. They were still with the owner, you see, because I was on the hurry. I was
Honorable Skosana.
Ngiyabonga mqinisihlalo. Angijamisi witness wethu mangiphakamisa izandla witness angingimisi ungaqhubeka mangiphakamisa until uchairperson angirecognize. Che bengifuna nje i-clarity quick one. Inkolo yezakhuluma ngazo ukuthi bezijanyiswe somewhere. Mara bekumaphepha kuke wakhuluma something ngesizas isizas bosho kuphi mhlambe for clarity say
Captain Park Emperor's Palace.
Emperors, not
Caesar's
Palace. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so those cars were parked there.
No, it's not those cars. Those
Okay.
ones were donated, branded, we utilized them.
Or you pick them up
Yes,
from the
yes,
Emperor's
yes.
Palace.
It
Thank
was no. It's 2 different institutions. The Emperor's Palace, it was done by Commissioner Revo's Peace. Those cars were donated, they were utilized. Then again, there was another donation of the trucks.
Yes.
Yes, those that we picked at Limpopo. Then those that are still parked at Alberton stores or Alberton workshop, you can't utilize them because with the present cars that we're having, you can't check overloads and everything. See, but you got them, they are there. The process was done after, you see, after we received those cars, there's no processes that was followed. That shows that there's a challenge, there's a capacity, or there's a challenge in terms of police, in terms of receiving and getting the one that they claim. Chris is confirming that you did the same thing.
Yes, no, it's fine.
Yes.
What I just wanted to find out was clarity on that. And because now you extended you said those cars are still parked.
Yes, at Albertine.
When they were parked there?
Oh, I think it's 4 years now.
Thank
3
you.
or 4 years.
Thank you, Chair.
They're still there. Yes, they are. Big trucks.
Thank you, Chair.
Chief Whip.
No, Chair, I just wanted to remind you of what we had agreed on at the beginning after lunch. I think we had agreed that we will try our level best to not to intervene when the advocate is going through with the witness until 3 o'clock. So I wanted to remind you in case you forgot it. Thanks.
When that statement was made, the honorable member was sitting right behind you. May we proceed?
Okay. So you say that they were still at initial stages. Where were the vehicles at the time?
They were still with the owner,
They were with the owner.
Mr. Matlala, or the CAT security.
They were with CAT
Yes.
security.
Yes.
According to Mr. Matlala's evidence that he gave, he says that the vehicles were in the city's possession for a period of time.
No, it's the documents that were in opposition.
His evidence is that the vehicles were with the city. What, do you have a comment to that?
No, we never received the cars.
Okay. What documents were with the city?
The papers, the ID copies of the owner of the vehicles. In fact, the documents that confirm that this car belongs to that person.
What was the purpose of those papers being with the city?
The proxy was registering them to the city. Yes.
For the purpose of donation?
Yes.
And
Because he wanted the letter of intent to donate, we received ID numbers and everything, confirmed that they belong to him. They were in the process of registration.
okay.
Yeah, he clarified it that we can't according to him, you can't get cars that are not yet, the council has not yet approved an item on it. You see, that means the previous one, the process was wrong. You see. But as I've said, that it shows the gap and the challenge in terms of policies on that. Because this, as he's saying in this statement and his letters that he has submitted, I don't know, it's JM, you filed the question about the letter from Christine. I think it's very important for us to check it. You see. But it's fine. The letter from the legal and corporate, our legal team confirms that. You see.
Yes.
Yes, that there was still a process. Yeah. But
So-
whilst the process was happening,
So your evidence is that you were then suspended for something that actually hadn't even happened and was never the plan for it to ever happen.
Blue Light was never a pen. No,
The
Blue
only
Light,
plan was the donation.
yes, to receive the vehicles.
Okay. May I now take you?
And I must mention that I raised it many times, Chair and Advocate, that show me the photos of these 4 vehicles, show me where you stopped them, show me where you got blue lights. Because this story was on Instagram, and within our media team, somebody was making notes. They were calling me blue light blesser in each and every article, but I've said it's fine. Can you prove it to me? You see that you stop this car in Ekurhuleni, because they said these cars are operating in Ekurhuleni with blue lights. And I'm talking about officers that when you see a car that belongs to a private person, please stop and arrest. It's a criminal conduct. It's an act. You see, and I don't even have powers to put blue lights. It's only the minister that is having those powers, or the recognized institution, police and EMPDs and what, and others that are having powers to put like your clinic, private clinics and things. They can put red lights and other things. You see, it's regulated. It's the powers that I can't change. It can be changed by this house. You see, not any other individual.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner, if you can then go back to Annexure JM9, which is at page 56. According to that document that you say you saw for the first time 2 years later, because it was never given to you, somebody, I think you led evidence to that, fact that somebody sent it to you via WhatsApp.
Yes.
Yes, okay. That letter seems to be addressed to IPID, Acting National Head of Investigations at IPID. And in the letterhead, I'm not going to read in your case number that was being investigated. It starts off this way. I refer to your memorandum dated 1 September 2023, addressed to Chief of Police, Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police Department. So IPID, basically what it's saying is that IPID sent a letter to the city on the 1st of September. You agree with that? This report submitted to me during a meeting called at the office of the executive mayor, despite the manner of your approach being irregular, having excluded the head of department, HR, and city manager as the accounting officer, I nonetheless received the report and annexures. So the city is now confirming that they've received a report dated 1 September 2023 from IPID investigation team.
Yes.
I have since considered this matter. The IPID investigating officer states that since the suspect did not have powers to conclude any agreement on behalf of the city of Ekurhuleni, his actions amounted to fraud and corruption. I'm going to pause there. The suspect is on the subject line, and the subject line is Boksburg CAS 262-03-2023. It's in relation to corruption, fraud, and corruption, CCN, and your name is in brackets. Is that Julius Dr. Mkhwanazi?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So when they talk about the suspect, they're talking about Julius Dr. Mkhwanazi
Yes.
and yourself.
Yes,
okay.
Advocate.
I have consulted with internal staff, and I'm advised that based on the current evidence, it will be difficult to prove fraud and corruption. This is from the city of Ekurhuleni, writing to IPID. Your report attaches little or no value to the statement of Director Mkhwanazi, the suspect. Then they get into the respective charges. In respect of fraud, there is unchallenged evidence that the suspect, while acting, if I may just stop there, your paragraph in your statement says that you were surprised why you were being charged, there was misconduct. You said it was surprising to receive a letter at paragraph 54 that there was an investigation in relation to me for improper use of my position. You couch it as improper use of your position. And here we now know that the charge was fraud and corruption. And it was in relation to, okay, we'll read that in shortly. There is unchallenged evidence that the suspect, while acting as chief of police, was given powers by Deputy Chief Police Mzolo to finalize matters relating to security division. Would you like to comment to that?
I think it responds to this.
It's responding, yes, it's responding, yes.
Yes.
The IPOD is basically accusing you of having had powers that were handed to you by Mzolo.
Who opened the case? The opening case is the Deputy Chief Revo Peace. He's responsible for other things. Me and my senior, who's the Deputy Chief, that I report direct to him. You see, he's the one and that Deputy Chief doesn't report to Revo Peace. He reports to the Chief of Police. You see, and the person who opened the case, it's EMPD. It's him who opened. And there was no way that they could have known anything because we're not reporting to him. For the past 20 years, since I was working in the city, I never reported anything to him. In fact, I don't even know that he's existing in the city. You see, because we don't have resources because of him. You see, okay. And now he goes and open the case. You see, I will relate the story with why is he opening the case. It's a question of a succession plan. You see. Okay,
but if we can then just go to paragraph 4 of that letter.
Yes.
It reads, according to the attached exhibits, the draft MOU, Memorandum of Understanding between the city and Medicare 24 was sent to the Chief of Police's PA for the Chief's attention in October 2021. This was pursuant to a to-do list given to the suspect by Mr. Mzolo. Okay, we can't really speak to that. We continue. The registration of the vehicles, which is what we are dealing with in that section regarding the allegations with blue lights. The registration of the vehicles was not done by the suspect, but by the authorized personnel from the fleet. This is what the city is saying back to IPED. The investigating officer says Steyn was instructed to effect registration on the vehicles. What vehicles are they talking about there?
It's those 4 vehicles.
You said the process was at initial stage.
Yes.
And I asked, I'm just asking you, Commissioner Mkhwanazi, to perhaps give a version and give your evidence regarding that. What is your evidence regarding that now this report says that it was not just the initial stage, but there was now a process of registration? Because your evidence was that nothing actually ever happened. Even though Kat Matlala says that the cars were with the city, you said no cars were with the city. And you also say that, in fact, no cars were ever registered. There was an intention to do that, but nothing was ever done. Now, this is speaking to cars that were being registered. And I'm asking that perhaps you can take us on that and give us a version. What is your evidence on that?
No, Advocate, I think you couldn't hear me clearly.
Okay.
The initiation stage is a process of registration of vehicle. That's where it starts, you see, because once you donate, those vehicles must be registered to the person or must be given to the person. But Chris said we can't get them, we can't receive them physically. Let's finalize the process, the paperwork first, so that they belong to the city. Then when they belong to the city, that's where you can take them. It was on that process. He was busy with the initiation stage of registration of vehicles. That's a process that was busy with. Okay. When I've said to you, there were papers and ID copies of Matlala, it's because he was busy with that process. That's why you do registration. Because you must have original papers that belong to the person. You must have ID copy too.
So it was the initiation stage of registering the cars, which never actually happened. No blue lights, no registration.
No. Blue lights are separate. Registration was there. Yes, it was done.
Registration was done.
Yes. When we were in the process of supposed to receive vehicles, it was stopped. That's where all these things came in, that there are blue lights and what. And Christian said, no, we can read it, then I will talk, because
It then continues to say the evidence by Steyn is that he was approached by the suspect, being Commissioner Mkhwanazi, for purposes of vehicle registration. And Steyn requested a letter of donation, which was duly produced by the suspect. And that letter, we don't have to go to it, is at page 99 of the bundle. It's not contentious, it's in your own bundle. The letter also sets out the cars at page 98, which cars ought to have been registered. You agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, so the letter of donation was received from CAT.
yes.
Okay, and those cars were 2 BMWs, 1 Mercedes-Benz, and 1 VW Golf. They are reflected at paragraph 3 of JDM 21, page 98 of the bundle. Okay, for now we are still on the same page.
I lost you, madam.
Okay,
Which paragraph now?
we're back to page 57. We're reading the letter, but we were just reading it in context with the letter of intent. Therefore, Steyn was not instructed on the strength of this letter. Steyn then delegated this function to the relevant officer to do the registration. So when they say the strength of this letter, they're talking about the letter from CAT Protection, CAT VIP Protection, dated 15 June 2022. On the strength of this letter, Steyn then delegated this function to the relevant officer to do the registration. Therefore, Steyn was not instructed to do the registration, but he followed the fleet department's processes that regulate the vehicle registration. Furthermore, Steyn says he saw nothing wrong with the donation letter. So that's registration, which you do not have an issue with. You do confirm that the vehicles that I mentioned at paragraph 3, being 4 cars that belong to CAT VIP, were registered.
Yes, I do it.
Okay, then we get into the second section, which is paragraph 8. In respect of corruption, the investigating officer, Kulu, says fraudulently registering vehicles using the city's funds amounted to corruption because CAT benefited unduly. This is not true. That's what the city is saying. The city is disputing what IPID has said. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
The vehicles were not registered fraudulently, as explained above. It is difficult to see how CAT benefited from the registration. That's what that says. The city is one that stood to the benefit of the registration of the vehicles, particularly considering that the EMPD had a shortage of vehicles. Okay. And then it goes on to say the elements of corruption in section 4, Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act, requires a public official to act personally and not to influence others. Do you have anything, do you want to comment on this letter? This is a letter that goes back to IPID regarding IPID's investigation. IPID finds you to be guilty of corruption and fraud, and they base that on the memorandum of understanding, and their basis is that you had no authority, you were not an accounting officer, and you had no authority to enter into this memorandum of understanding with CAT VIP, and so therefore you pretended to be a person who had authority, and that is the reason that they were recommending that you be charged. On the other hand is a letter from the city contradicting the findings of IPID and saying, well, they are misguided on their investigation. Do you have a comment to that?
Yeah. What I like about this letter, that they didn't engage me before they wrote this letter. I was not aware about this letter. I was not aware about the city's investigation on this, you see. And it was not even addressed to me, it is addressed to IPID. They responded to IPID, you see, 2020, there's a date, 06 December 2023. You see, even when I back, I'm on that way. But Chris has stated clearly, Chris here is confirmed, the advocate Zulu, Advocate Jabulo Zulu, and acting HOD head. He's an attorney or a lawyer too. You see,
Sure.
they are saying exactly what I'm saying and what I've been saying. That there were no blue lights that were fitted, sorry.
No, I wanted to request the witness to speak through the mic. We are receiving complaints. They can't hear him. People who are watching from home.
Thank you, Chair. I will try to be disciplined. When I move paper, I move too. But I'm saying, I'm confirming, or I'm happy about this letter because I was not consulted when they drafted this letter. And I was not aware when it was drafted. And it confirms what I've been saying, what Christine, the proxy, he's a senior person in the city, as I've said, that he deals with all the vehicles, that these are just gossip, rumors, and character assassination. You see, and IPID again, in their findings, it's a negative finding that recommends Legal and Corporate to charge me. And Legal and Corporate responds to them that we charge him with what? You see, that's a response between Advocate Zulu and Kulu, senior investigator from, you see. I think that's why. And yeah, there's not Dr. Mashaz, as people are saying, hey, it's close to Dr. Mashaz, what. Yeah, it's a Legal and Corporate of the city responding to IP, not even me. I was not included. I'm always saying thanks to Matlala, thanks to ad hoc. I was not going to come across this document or other documents. Thank you, Advocate.
Thank you, Commissioner. So what I would like to just ask you to comment on is the memorandum of understanding, because it seems that is where the problem actually starts regarding the blue lights. It starts with you being accused of impersonating an officer who is an accounting officer and is able to contract on behalf of the city. Do you have any comments on that?
Advocate, may I ask, I'm the employee of the city. Am I not supposed to be creative? Are we saying juniors of the city, they can't come up with anything that can assist the department or can assist the city? Their problem is that there's a memorandum of understanding that came in. It didn't come from a specific individual, but it came from the other. But that memorandum it went to the office of the chief. I engaged my senior Deputy Chief Mzolo, and he was aware that the chief is aware about this memorandum of understanding, you see. And that's how we lost these cars. We never received any cars. It was cancelled, everything. In fact, it didn't even take long. You see, we said, no, let's cancel because the Christians said it clear that the guys are can't help you. You are fighting. You are coming up with this story. The other deputy chief coming with the story. And the other deputy chief of police, the one that are talking to Mr. Mzolo, he's quiet. He doesn't want to say, yes, I received this, but this is my division. I'm responsible for this, you see. Then he end up saying, no, I don't want to be this. But I'm telling you, it happened many times before you see, and it happened because it was Rivers Peace was doing it. But when it's Julius Mkhwanazi, it's crime. But I'm very happy that the department or the city, not the department, is raising all these issues to IPID. Okay. And you can't blame IPID. When any member of public or of police go and open the case, they must act, you see. They must act and do their own recommendations, you see.
No, thank you, Mr. Mkhwanazi. Just as a follow-up question, so when you say that as a junior member, you cannot be creative, would you like to elaborate on what you mean by that? Can you also contract on behalf of the city and draft memorandum of understandings? I just want to be a bit clear about your evidence. I'm
saying members came to me and said, Nduna, or they call me Nduna, but it means we're a senior personnel, we're a senior person. Nduna, you see, all those guys that we are training with, they're saying their boss, Matlala, want to change the fleet, you see, because he's targeting other investors that are coming from outside the country. You see, he wants to concentrate, but the type of vehicle that he's using, they're not in that standard, you see. But he want to change his fleet. I said, no, guys. They said, but let's ask, maybe we can have vehicles, you see. Then we communicated with Vos. Vos said, no, it's fine, but they're old. They're going to cost you in terms of fuel. They are old. You see, that's why I haven't changed them, because they're not even attractive to my clients or to the type of business doing. That's how it came in. That means members were creative. There is something to, you see. Then we started doing that, you see. And we submitted documents to the Office of the Chief of Police. You see, like Mike did, he emailed documents to them, and no one is denying them. They're saying, yes, we received them, but there was nothing. As I've said, that it's not even one. It was Mike, it was these others, you see, that are coming in that office, but there's nothing that is happening, you see. And there are challenges. Even now, there are challenges. When I've said that, at least when I'm acting, I took decision. When I acted last year, as you said, we were acting, I was taking decision. We were able to buy cars, you see. There was a process of making sure that we get bullet vest. Even now, there was a process of getting other cars. Whereas people who were there in the system, sitting for 20 years, they never bought cars, they never did anything. Budget was going back to the city, you see. That's a challenge. But the problem is that members on the ground are the one that suffers, are the one that feels the pain, they're the one that sees that, hey, if you can do this, maybe we'll be assisted. You see, they're the one that responds to the challenges that are facing our communities. Our communities are the one that are suffering every day. You see, because seeing one police officer, it's like seeing a production of 1,000. At least when you see them responding, it changes the mindset to the communities. But I think we don't see the way we are seeing it, you see. The letter of intention, I must put it categorically. It's not Vos who came to us. You see, I've accepted, I've agreed, and I've said it to Matlala Commission that I take the blame, because I'm the one who went to him and say, members are saying that this. He agreed. I don't want to, because he's arrested or not, to want to be nice to the committee. I must be honest with the committee. I'm the one who went to him. He said, say, please donate. You see, and he was clear to me that, hey, these cars are old. It was before we became close. I've said that in that statement, after 2022, April and what, he was no longer discussing issues of Ekurhuleni. I think he was frustrated, discussing other issues, and you see. Yes. But it is us, me, especially me, that went to Mike, me, who went to Vusi Matlala. That time I didn't know, up until there was this me that things now, you see. But it was a businessman who ran the clinic and what. That's why we communicated with him.
Okay, thank you.
And the business was registered. There was nothing wrong from.
Thank you, Commissioner. So what we know from that evidence regarding the blue lights is that you firstly did not fit any blue lights in Kat Matlala's cars. You also had a letter of intent for him to donate cars, but no cars were in fact donated, and they never came to, they were never delivered. Even though Mr. Matlala himself says that the cars were with the city, you deny that. You say he's inaccurate when it comes to that. That never happened. And then lastly, yes.
So may I mention, as EMPD, we are at the end. We're at the receiving end. He will do his processes, finalize, get cars, and inform we've got cars, we're doing this and this and this. He will call you when he has finalized the process. That's how the process runs. When you finalize branded, or if the cars are there, he was going to tell us now the cars are there. There were no cars that were received. There were no cars that were fitted with blue lights. There were no cars that were branded, except those choppers of Mabilis, those choppers and the other cars. But I want to mention too that, except that in 2024, when I was 18, from 2020, I received again that there's another fleet from a certain private company that works with the chief of police, that works with Rivers, that donated for vehicle. It's 2 years after this processes. Now I'm 18, the chief is suspended. The other deputy chief is trying to run away to Tshwane because he came and lied that he has retired. He has retired, he's getting some pension from the city of Ekurhuleni, but he's still he's employed now as a deputy chief of police in the city of Tshwane. You can't be retired. But after 2 years of those processes, the same people, they get cars. It's part of this bundle. from another company. Now the third company now. It's the chopper. No, the chopper, it's the third thing. The fourth company now. Donate cars again to the city. Not following the processes. You have punished me, you have opened a criminal case against me, but you are continuing doing wrong things again. If I didn't act, I was not going to be aware. As I've said that, I had to receive people because the structure is changed. When I receive, I check. Let me check out the cars. I said, but these cars, they don't belong here. Who do? No, the cars were donated by, Chair, I'm not sure. You said I'm protected. I must mention the car, because if I don't mention the companies, they're going to deal with me. So we are hiding things there. You see, I remember that Sintel donated 4 or 5 cars to the city. And those cars, I said they must park. Even now, they are still parked at Captain Park. Because members can use private companies that are registered to the city. Because if a member, they're not insured when they're driving those cars. You can't respond as EMPT in those cars. If you got an accident, there's no insurance that is going to cover you. Because those cars must be registered, and they're not, they're hiding them. They don't want to register, but members are using them. Or partially, I stopped when I was 18. Advocate, you see now when I'm 18, I take decisions. Yes, I took a decision, these cars must park. Or if I was behaving like them, I was going to open a criminal case and say it's fraud too.
Thank you, Commissioner. I think you have captured it well at paragraph, your disgruntlement at paragraph 64 of your statement, where you say that it's important to note that a similar situation previously occurred during which Commissioner Mapia Revo and they lodged a complaint with IPED. They facilitated the procurement of 4 vehicles. So when you say a similar situation, you also just want to be treated like them, where you donate cars and nothing actually follows if you don't follow processes. Is that what you are suggesting? If you can just maybe finalize your evidence.
It shows that they went to IPED and lied under oath that they didn't follow the processes and what. It happened before, it happened with me. Even after me, they did the same thing. It's worse with them. They branded a chopper with EMPT. In fact, we are supposed to go and take that chopper because it belongs to us. It's having police branding. Okay. There are photos where they posed and took everything. Again, after that, they still go and receive cars. You see, okay. Those cars now are parked in the city of Ekurhuleni, Captain Park, headquarters of EMPT. My instruction was that you don't remove those cars. It's like I predicted, or Manyanga told me that one day you'll be called here. You see, to show that these people are continuing to do, they've been doing these things. But when it's a certain person that is not part of their succession plan, or is not part of them, they must now go to a pit, make a noise, paint him with blue lights and all these things. You see, and I'm having photos and evidence of those things here.
Thank you, Commissioner. If you would like to comment on your last paragraph in your statement, it is labeled Witness D.
You know, Advocate, it is very disturbing and hurting. Last year, I was called at Haddock for consultation. When I was at the airport, I took a first page of Star newspaper. When the flight was delaying, I decided to read newspaper because you must read. South Africa must be informed. You can't be a leader when you're not informed. Yeah. The article says, Witness D died, they killed him. I know that, I saw that in newspaper. I know the social media don't entertain them. But that article says that because he presented an evidence against Julius Mkhwanazi. I'm not called nice. Criminal with all these words, Mkhwanazi. That's why he has died, because he's linked to those things. And surprisingly, I think you've got access of witness D statement. Witness D statement doesn't say, I instructed him to dump a person. He's saying the person that I was talking to I've said he must dump. A person who said that I've instructed him, it's Revo's piece when he was testifying. You see, you can have access of that and read this paragraph 25, because I wanted that, because I don't know Witness D. And he even said in his statement that he doesn't know me. He even calls me with a junior rank. And I didn't deny that I went there. I woke up, I went there. You see, because there's a success. They are saying there are goods that have been recovered. But as I've said it in Matlala, when I was there was no success. And you could see that you can't have an operation that started at 8 o'clock at night, having more than 30 officers around the area, 16, 17, 19 vehicles of all security agencies, police, security companies, EMPD, then you want me to come and take charge. And when I said, where's the success? A person says his own things. But let me say it now, I've said it to Matlala. I don't know that person. And that person in his statement, he has said it that I've never spoken to that person. I don't know. Or when I'm saying that person, Ed Matlala mustn't say that person. I don't know Witness D. And Witness D doesn't know me. I started to know Witness D after his murder, you see, but I don't know him physically. I never saw him. And now I'm able to receive some affidavits, some photos of the people that he killed in illegal mining when they were closing illegal. Even there, he's painting that there's a minister who instructed him to kill or to close that illegal mine. I don't think security companies, the Department of Minerals, they give powers to close mines, you see. But that's what he did. He confirmed. He was talking to journalists, telling them that, no, there's a minister, I want to, running away from the responsibility. Again, there's a photo here of a plastic. Tomorrow I'm going to bring a memory stick so that I give it to you, where he's torturing a mother who's 59-year-old, putting plastic, the same thing that he said they did in that 2021 or 2022 thing. But secondly, I must mention that my family, my kids, and this thing has disturbed them, you see. And it is worrying now as I'm here. My attorney was shot at poison, the one that was assisting me, Matlala and that thing, day before. It gives me worries now. I can't even move out of the house because I'm being seen as the killer police. Where go I kill people? I don't know for what, you see, because I was not even part of that. And they confirmed that they started the operation as the security companies, that one of Witness D. There were no police, but they called people, you see, later to come and do the whatever that they did. That I don't know, you see. And I never issued an instruction. I don't know that because he doesn't know me. And what I like that in his statement before he died, he has mentioned that it's just that we're still starting. I can't discuss it because it's under investigations and other things, you see. But the statement stated clearly. And when I checked the statement of the witness that is coming from the department, the same deputy chief of police, he's the one that I instructed, but he was not there. But witness is very clear in his statement. It's what paragraph 25, it's very clear. You'll be charged by social media, you'll be charged, but it's worrying when people are dying like this and you are quiet, there's nothing that is happening, you see. Because a lot of people that are dying,
Thank you.
people died in that crime. People are dying in illegal mines, you see. Now I've got a statement, affidavit, of a white person who's complaining. He said that there's been tortured, plastic was put by this witness, he wanted some information and...
Commissioner Mkhwanazi, I suspect it's a sensitive issue because it must be under investigation and we can't call the person to come and give their version. I think you wanted to speak to it and say just not necessarily your whole version because it's under investigation, but I think you wanted to mention it. So I suspect, Chair, we have come to the end of leading evidence and we hand over back to you.
Can we give Advocate Mkhize a round of Malibongwe,
Ucwabeka Zihlandla, wena wasembo.
Malibongwe.
Phela, Khabazela, Mavovo.
Yeah, can you say it again? Can you say it again, Honorable?
Ucwabeka Zihlandla, wena wasembo. Kuphela uMavovo.
Khabazela. Thank you so much.
I'm not sure if this is still about the leading of evidence.
This is
The manner in which Nomvalo is singing. I'm not sure if it's still about the leading of evidence.
this is the kind of South Africa we desire to have. The South Africa we have always wanted, where an African woman can be praised by men and not always women praising men. Can you say it again, Honorable Novel?
Amasi.
No, this guy from the Eastern Cape is conservative. Chair.
Say it.
Ukhabazela kuphela kamavovo. Ugcwabeka zihlandla wena wasemba. Honorable Mkhwanazi is jealous. He's being jealous.
So much.
Amasi akhanya eswini.
Thank you so much.
Siyayiqedelela.
Yeah. Yeah. You know where we come from in our communities. Every time the item of a family praise comes, a woman will be called. But today is us here praising woman, the South Africa we always wanted to see. Thank you so much, Advocate Mkhize, our witness, Commissioner Mkhwanazi. Thank you so much. Honorable members, we have come to the end of the presentation of evidence by our witness, and I'm taking the time now is almost 20 minutes after 15 hours. I'm allocating 15 minutes to alternate members and 30 minutes to full-time members. I want us to start now. Can I get an indication from Honorable Sangoni, who is starting from the African National Congress?
Thank you very much, Chair. Congratulations again, Advocate Mkhize, the South Africa that the ANC policies have built. From the ANC, Chair, we will be starting with Honorable Nduli, the Chief Whip, followed by myself, and then we will then use the rotation later on for Honorable Sokanyile and Honorable Matlala. Thank you very much.
Okay, from the MKP, who is speaking?
From the MKP, Chair, we're not changing anything. We're following the usual order.
Okay.
Speak in one voice, Chair.
Honorable Skosana.
Now bese ngibuza nje Chair ngoba masiye lunchini uthize kuzoqala honorable so Khanyile uze sekutshintshe kuphi manje Chair?
Puma. You enter where? Puma.
Do you want to respond to that, Honorable Sokanyile?
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I was telling the honourable member that he must leave the ANC things to ANC and deal with the MKP things.
He must keep his Europe.
Yeah,
And you keep your Zimbabwe.
No, he must keep his Zimbabwe, then we keep our Europe.
Chair, it's you who said so when we went for lunch. It's not me.
The leader,
So we are waiting for you to tell us that we have paid.
the leader of the ANC delegation in this committee is
But Chair, it's difficult to leave
Honorable
ANC.
Sangoni.
Even witnesses are members of ANC. Angithi Mkhwanazi.
and,
Comrades, I know you still think you're members of the ANC. Just come back.
Honorable
Just come
Brayton
back.
Bark
Only the ANC thinks.
has taught us to speak in one voice as parties in this committee. Honorable members, the witness has requested a convenience break. So we are going to resume at 3:30. May you all stand up and leave the chambers.